Okay, so a couple of nights ago, Candace Owens was on the Jimmy Dore show, and she described in pretty good detail when she realized they, meaning the authorities, you can decide who they are in your interpretation of that, when they assassinated Charlie Kirk. And it's quite interesting, it's quite telling. I do have some thoughts, concerns, and opinions as well, which I'm going to share. And before I get into it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well. There's going to be loads more content like this coming your way. And I want to get to 500 subs ASAP. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
About what happened to Charlie is not true. What is the most compelling for me? It's this. It's the fact that a 30-06 bullet would leave an exit wound like a drive-through, like at least 6 inches. So mostly it would probably blow someone's head off, and certainly his neck. And here's Rob O'Neill. He was part of the SEAL team that went and got bin Laden. And here's what he had to say about it.
And we were told that he was like Superman. His body stopped a 30-06 bullet. His body was like Superman, made of like some sort of a superhuman metal or something like that. What do you believe about that? If a 30-06 round hit Charlie Kirk, what would have happened?
Well, it's going to blow his head off, probably. It's going to be a big mess, too, but then you're going to find remnants of the bullet. I don't think they've even found it yet. Why was the chair and the desk moved when you can get a forensic expert in there and find out exactly where the shot was fired from? So I'm just asking these questions. If they can be refuted, fine. And if you tell me the answer, great. I'll stop asking that. But we're not getting any answers except this is what happened. Shut up. Be a good worker.
Shut up. You're an anti-Semite. And when the trial happens, you'll look like a fool.
That's it.
So, to me, that's the most compelling thing, that this is a concocted story by the establishment. And so there's a guy who knows something about it. He shot a lot of people. So what's the most compelling piece of evidence for you?
All right, so I want to chime in with my 2 cents now, give my opinions. Back when the assassination happened of Charlie Kirk, most people were skeptical about it. Unless you've been living under a rock and you believe legacy media to be 100% true and you're not willing to question anything, then everybody else on this planet will have been asking appropriate questions to find out what really went on, which we still don't know, by the way, and why things don't make sense. And I was watching a lot of videos on YouTube, which ballistic experts were covering the story and telling us mere mortals who know fuck all about guns, okay, or most of us, why what they're saying, what the establishment are saying and what the media are saying is untrue and unfounded. It's just not fact. Again, I don't know a lot about guns. I've spent a lot of time in the US, but I don't know anything about guns, really. But what I do know is that from these ballistic expert channels, and these were ex-Navy SEALs who have these channels, you know, Valhalla, I think everyone knows his YouTube. Shout out to Valhalla, great guy, seems, love his content, and a few others. And they went into minute detail about what the type of rifle that was allegedly used to kill Charlie Kirk would have done to anybody's neck. The person would have no head, or the head would be off their shoulders. I hate to be gruesome, but that's the reality and the long and short of it. Not from me, this information is coming from. This is coming from ballistic experts. Okay? In fact, I think on Valhalla's channel, back when this happened, I think he showed a clip of someone who sent a video into his channel or his show demonstrating what a 30-06 rifle will do to a dummy that was kind of just, I think it was stood up or hung, I don't remember the exact angle of it, or an animal. And some of these animals, like elk, I mean, like 400 or 500 pounds, right? It basically ripped the entire head to pieces. It blew it to pieces. And now the establishment are trying to tell us that Charlie Kirk had this steel man type of neck. Out of all the millions of people in the world, he is the one, coincidentally, who has this man of steel neck. And if you remember rightly, which I'm going to bring up now, if you remember at the time, Andrew Culver, who's a spokesman for Turning Point USA, he came out with this tweet And this was absolutely hideous. Do you remember it at the time? He says, I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into this, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I just spoke with a surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. Excuse me, I got a cough. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. Exactly. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc. Case in point, what I spoke about a minute ago. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent. And he replied, it was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have just gone through and through, and it likely would have killed those standing behind him too. Okay, just saying, in the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. My point is, I'm not disputing what this expert's saying, this surgeon's saying. I'm not saying he's lying. He's saying what is a fact based off of his experience with gun wounds, entry and exit wounds in the past. It sounds to me like he was just reporting, basically saying, in other words, this is full of shit, what's gone on. Normally, in all the countless of cases I've had, this has never happened before. So why now? He must be like Man of Steel. It stinks to me. It doesn't make sense. And this is why everybody wants answers. So anyway, let's carry on.
Well, I will say, Jimmy, I am disappointed that you didn't like Popeye the Sailor Man when you grew up. You can eat a lot of spinach and grow up to be able to stop bullets. And I want to encourage everybody at home to eat your vegetables, because that you can 3,000 pounds of energy coming at you, you will be able to stop. So I'm disappointed in that guy, because who's he? What does he know about guns, you know? And what's amazing is they're trying to do this thing where they're like, well, I spoke to some experts said it maybe could have happened. Show me the example. There's a lot of people being shot all around the world. Okay. Show me the example of a person who got shot in the neck with a 30-06 or even something of a similar caliber. And that not only, and I want you to focus on this, not only did the bullet not go through, okay, there was no blood splatter on the back of his shirt when he went down. Okay. They're not showing you that footage. Not only that, I've also said this, which should be, even if you said this was some miracle and it stopped, we can all agree the front of his neck would have been a mess. It wasn't. That's what I am telling you guys. He only had a mark where you saw that mark go in.
Exactly. We've all seen it, as graphic and hideous and horrendous as it is. The wound was not that big. When you see videos of people shooting that exact alleged rifle that assassinated Charlie Kirk, it literally takes people's heads off, whether they're using dummies or dead animals or whatever it is. It literally obliterates them entirely. So why not Charlie Kirk?
It completely destroyed his artery. So that's why you saw so much blood. That was like completely. But this didn't even take out like the front of his neck. Okay. He looked good. He looked good after, once he was cleaned up and put into the casket. Charlie looked good. This was not a situation which required a lot to put Charlie back together. So that's what I want people to know. It's beyond just the bullet didn't pass through. You have to believe that it was such a miracle. There was no blood on the back of his shirt until obviously he went downward and then things, gravity. But there was no blood. There was no splatter. And also that the front of his neck, it was clean. It's ridiculous. Okay. So yeah, that's the big obvious thing. The second, for me, most compelling thing is that they're saying how harmful these conspiracy theories are. And yet the easiest thing that they could have done immediately is to just release footage of the person taking the shot. Even if we can't see a Tyler Robinson, wouldn't you just go, oh, we're actually going to show you, because there were cameras everywhere, the shot being taken from Losey Center?
You can love or hate Candace Owens, but she asks the right questions, whether you like it or not. She does want the truth. She's a truth seeker. People call her, she's crazy, she's a fucking psycho, whatever. She does have some very outlandish takes, in my opinion, but she asks the right questions. And in this case, yeah, if the FBI or whoever it is, the authorities are so convinced that Tyler Robinson is the guilty culprit who shot and assassinated Charlie Kirk, why don't you just show us the footage? You'll have it. because university campuses like that have cameras everywhere. Show us the footage, and then, like Candace says, you can put all this conspiracy theories and all these he said, she said, all this shitting on the government and shitting on the FBI and whoever, you can put it all to bed and say, actually, here's a finger to you. This is what happened. Why aren't they doing it? Same with the Epstein stuff. You know, there's minutes missing of footage before he allegedly, hung himself or whatever he did. It just stinks. It doesn't make sense. It's far easier to just show us the fucking footage to say, look, here's Tyler Robinson. But they can't do it. And it just makes things look even more suspicious.
We're actually going to show you, because there were cameras everywhere, the shot being taken from Losey Center. They have not produced that evidence. Why? Explain to me logically. I know you guys are big lawyers and experts. Why releasing footage of somebody taking a shot would in any way hinder your super strong case against him? That's not going to make it stronger, right? It's not going to make it stronger to show us that this person actually fired the shot. And here's, and I will say a third thing that's the most compelling. There was only one person who caught that person on the roof crouching down, one person who caught that on camera, right? And you hear the guy say in the background, oh, I see somebody up there. I see somebody up there. That happens at 12:23. I think Charlie gets shot at 12:23 and is maybe 30 milliseconds. I've spoken to that individual. It was difficult to find, but not too hard to find. I've spoken to this person twice. He said he has not been asked to testify. He did not. No, here's the best part. He did not see that person take the shot. He saw him crouch down, and that was it. And this person works teaching people how to fire guns. He said it did not look to him like Tyler. He said the person was in, what's the word? Which is what we heard over the 911 call. He saw a person that was in, he said he thought it was a military man, and he was in, what do you call them when they're in like their black official garb? There's an expression for that.
I don't know. I'm blanking on it myself.
Thank you. Tactical gear. My producer just said it in my ear. Tactical gear. He said he saw a person in tactical gear. This is a professional who knew what he was doing. He did not see him take the shot. He did not see, because he said there would have been a recoil, and that he told the local police, he walked into the police station right after, and he said, I saw somebody on the roof. He did not see that person take the shot. Okay. The lone witness to this person on the roof. Okay.
Absolutely stinks, doesn't it? How can you say you didn't see that person take the shot? The only person on the roof. Fucking crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
Wow.
They have not reached out to him. Tyler Robinson's defense lawyers have not reached out to him. Does that make sense to you?
Just sounds like you're a crazy person. And,
yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
So there's so much that I would like to ask you about. Did you know that I asked Grok to analyze the sound waves, and Grok says that it's not, the sound waves don't match up with a high caliber rifle like 30-06, that it sounds like it came from close. What's closer? Did you know this already, or am I telling you something you already know?
Well, I think I've spoken to every UVU student on the ground that day. In my investigation, everyone said that it sounded like it came from closer.
Yeah.
And there's mysteriously, it's a dark hole if you try to get footage of what happened if you're Charlie Kirk on his left side. Right. So based on the evidence I have gathered, I believe that the shot came from a left side and it came from a lot closer. And if somebody fired a rifle, that was just to cover a sound. And I do not believe that there was ever a shot fired from the top of Losey Center. There is not one piece of compelling evidence to that effect. There's no one that can dispute that. There, least of all, the feds who do not want to produce that evidence for whatever reason. And yeah, that is where my investigation has led me. The students who, were below the age of 60, for whatever reason, the mainstream media could only find people that didn't go to UVU and didn't actually speak to the students, who all said, we didn't recognize, like, a lot of people that were there that day.
Right.
They didn't go to UVU. It was very weird. And we heard the shot from closer coming from the left side.
So that wraps it up. Yeah, makes total sense, doesn't it? Yeah, real loads of sense. And also just on the shots at the end, a lot of people saying it was closer, and that were just being like bullshit too, which I think A lot of people will agree with what I'm saying here, my sentiments. And again, ballistic experts have spoken about this at length. Special forces, all these military specialists, experts that have far more credentials than me or anybody else online talking about this. And they have all said it just doesn't make sense. Even I think like sound wave experts, whatever you call them, they have even chimed in and weighed in on it and said it's utter bullshit. It doesn't make sense. It just sounds like it's from far too closer from where it's been alleged to have happened up on the roof. And these are experts. And you've got to remember, this is their livelihood. This is what they do for a living, by giving investigations for crimes on behalf of the police or detectives or inspectors or wherever. This is what they do. A lot of them prove ballistically or through sound waves when a gun was fired and where from and what distance. These people are so much smarter than the FBI and the authorities. It's insane. So yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to like it. If you don't, that's no worries. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.